SMBI starts with registration on Monday. In the evening we have orientation, some activities to get to know the people a little better. We were given a one-paragraph story ending and then supposed to act out the reason why it ended like that. Some pretty interesting ideas came out. Food was usually very good. Choir practice. That was always a good time. I was very impressed with the amount of prayer that was spent in school, and during choir practice there was a big portion of it. We always started with prayer and sharing. It was like a daily prayer meeting. Jason Miller was also doing a great job of leading us and learning the songs and trying to get us to
row together to the kingdom. There's room on the boat, so get on board. Row together to the kingdom. Everybody get a place, everybody get an oar. Row together to the kingdom.
In the evening it would be different things, singing, volleyball, study, or just fellowship in the lounge. After dorm time, when the he's and the she's separate, the guys' end of the building can sometimes turn quite interesting. From wrestling in the public lounge, to wheelbarrow races in the hall, to jumping over the kitchen table. They kept stacking more and more plates until, Some special events we had were talent night, some good and serious stuff, and also some good humorous stuff. And also volleyball tournaments, which were a great highlight and lots of fun. On weekends, we sometimes went out and tried to untangle our highly compressed brain with some light-hearted stuff. I happened to go along mudding one time. If you can't get the vehicle into the swamp, try it on foot. Another thing we did sometimes was go for a hike up to the waterfalls or some other park. Here I was about an hour away from SMBI at a state park to see the balancing rock. The rock is balancing on a ledge overlooking a drop-off of approximately 60 to 80 feet. The river is right underneath the rock. The trails were extremely dangerously covered with wet ice, extremely slippery. This is the rock we went to see. So what was the reason for going? What's the point? I had a desire to learn more about a godly lifestyle and to experience the fellowship of Bible school. I had a class both terms about music theory. We would often just sit and discuss different views and opinions on good and bad music. We also did a lot of digging in the rudiments of music. One highlight about the class was that we had opportunity to go to a sacred harp singing. They only have 4 different notes, whereas we have 7. They would always sit with all 4 parts facing into the center. The song leader is in the center, facing the lead singers, which is tenor. The biggest difference from their singing to what we are used to is that their first priority in singing is volume. Sing loud. Then, if possible, you can also sing in harmony, but make sure you sing loud. We, on the other hand, stress the harmony part way higher than the singing loud. We also tried to sing a song that they were singing. Of course, ours sounded quite different. Listen to the difference.
Hello and welcome to this, the 5th episode in the series Battle for the Hearts.
Muslim evangelism was another one of my favorite classes. We studied much about Muslims using videos, the Quran, and lots of other material. Elijah Yoder was teaching that class, and he was an excellent teacher. An interesting and great highlight was a trip to New York City visiting the mosques on their Friday worship service. Friday is their main day of worship instead of Sunday. The mosques are beautiful. We all dressed up like Muslims ourselves. The ladies are the most different. The Imam's Muslim preacher had thought we were good Muslims until we said we were Christians and were studying about Islam. They were very open to have us gather around and ask questions. It was more an educational experience than a witnessing trip. We did have people as our tour guides who were working with Muslims, and they had some good conversations. In a Turkish mosque on Saturday, we had TH with us. He was a Christian that used to be a Muslim. He has a special gift to reach out to Muslims. He talked for a long time with the treasurer of the Turkish mosque. The treasurer seemed to come under some conviction. He admitted he had never heard the Christian belief explained like that before. Banquets were also a good and interesting time. Some people did a wonderful job of decorating everything. Fourth term tour. We sang Bound for Jubilee for the staff at the airport before we boarded the plane to fly to Oregon. There are so many deep memories of those special 3 weeks, I can't even scratch the surface in these few minutes. I especially enjoyed all the unofficial programs and witnessing we got to do, like singing in the airport, parks, streets, rest stops, etc. We did some sightseeing. Yosemite National Park was a highlight for that. "There's no God like Jehovah" phrase often ran through my mind as we watched in amazement at God's wonderful creation. After climbing and pushing for more than 2 miles, including approximately 2,000 feet vertical, we reached the top of Nevada Falls. What an awesome view. Josh is going out on the rock and trying to take a look down over the edge. Wow, that's like approximately more than 600 feet straight drop off. Awesome. We went through the Cascade Mountains and also Rocky Mountains. Very beautiful and amazing. There's no God like Jehovah. Singing Days of Elijah at a rest stop. This was our most requested song. It seemed There's No God Like Jehovah was also an unspoken unofficial theme of tour. Singing it in Days Inn Motel. Singing Days of Elijah and other songs in the streets of LA late one evening. Singing for the waitresses at a restaurant in LA. We did some street ministry with Ray Comfort's organization on Huntington Beach, LA. We did mostly singing and handing out tracts while his men would preach and challenge people. But not only that, we also had official programs, singing in churches, schools, etc. Programs were not the same, but the theme was always God's call. Who will go for me? I have never experienced such severe spiritual warfare as we did on tour, but nor have I ever felt so strong the forces of light fighting and defeating the powers of darkness. There were times when we would gather around, embracing and crying out to God for deliverance and strength to go on and claiming the power of the redeeming blood of Christ and demanding the devil to depart. Things happened that were nothing short of a miracle, more than once. And then after such a battle, what can we say but that there is no God like Jehovah? And then I often felt like singing. At the airport we had to wait for approximately 30 to 45 minutes till the bus driver finally found out where our terminal was. In that time we sat around and just sang our dearly beloved songs. I really enjoyed such an informal style of just singing the way we were. This is the first time I was ever singing under the direction of Curious George.
King of kings and Lord of lords, and he shall reign forever and ever, forever and ever, forever and ever. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
The quartet also sang some songs.
Get together with the Lord. Now when get together, when they all get together with the Lord.
Finally, here are a few clips of our last program. In many ways, it was one of the best programs. I really enjoyed it. Lots of familiar people were there, at least for many.